What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Union Talk. The topic that I want to go over with you guys is the importance of lineage, and this can apply to every martial art out there, whether it's Filipino or not. But I'm going to give you my experience and my thought process, the pros and cons that I can see based off of my experience in Filipino martial arts. And so the first thing that comes off the top of my head already is you focus or you pay mind to the lineage to honor your teachers and their teachers. The progression of how the art or the system started, all of the improvements, the evolution that happened from their students that became instructors and then their students that became instructors up until it got to you. That didn't happen out of nowhere. So paying mind to your lineage gives you the opportunity to pay homage or be able to honor your system or your instructors and their instructors. Another side note when it comes to training and being a part of a lineage is, as you can honor your teachers and you can stay inside your community, whether that is the martial art community, the type of martial art that is, or it's inter-system, eventually want to be able to train with as many different people as you can. Now, the point in time when you do that is subjective, and that's completely up to you. Ideally, when it comes to lineage, because there's so many, especially in Filipino martial arts, it's very good to train with other people, even if it's the same system. Because as these years go on and as instructors form, one instructor is going to enjoy one section of the art more than the other. And so they're going to focus their evolution on that aspect. So for instance, one person might really like empty-handed. One other person might really like stick work, specifically in long range. And so they're going to spend their time, they're going to devote their efforts in learning as much as they can in that. And they might stray away a little bit from the other. Having different outlooks, having different people teach you these things in different methods help you have such a wider view on the system that you're doing or a wider view on the actual art that you're doing, which will eventually help you create your own version of that martial art. And on that note, having a lineage will help you understand why this person focuses more on this aspect. It will also help you know who taught who. It'll kind of give you the back end and be able to track the progression. And so you can search out specific instructors that'll focus on an area that you want to learn, or you can see why it's become this way, whether you agree with it or not. When you are able to do that, when you have some sort of substance that you can trace, then you can have more clarity on what it is that you want from the system or from this art. Now, a con when it comes to lineage, and this doesn't apply to everyone, but there are particular people out there in the martial arts world that really only care about lineage, and they'll sacrifice their own skill and sacrifice even their dignity to have this lineage kind of define them. And so the lineage is important to honor, but at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own technique, you are responsible for your own growth and the abilities that you present and that you perform day in and day out on the mats. And so whether your lineage is the most glorified and the most honorable lineage, or it's a lineage of complete strangers that no one has ever heard of, at the end of the day, your skill is going to speak louder than anyone that you can write on a piece of paper. I actually had a situation long time ago. I was introduced to a gentleman, and it so happened that we both trained in Filipino martial arts. Specifically, our system, Bias Tres Manos, isn't that well known. It comes from very well known ones, but in the grand scheme of things, not a lot of people know. And I know that. I never really start with talking about my lineage. I kind of talk about the martial art itself. And this gentleman handed me a piece of paper and started writing down the names of people he's trained with. Now, I don't know if he's trained with these people for long periods of time. I don't know if it was just a one-off seminar. And I really don't care because I've never trained with you before. I've never met you before. Personally, myself, I'm not one to judge and be like, oh wow, you're the greatest, look at all these names. I really don't care who you trained with. I care about what you can do and what you can share. So that can be a con of lineage. It can really overtake the individual and make them focus on the people that they trained with versus the things that they can actually train or do. And so one of the final things, and you can kind of be a pro or a con depending how you look at it, one of the most important things is to never be binded to your lineage. And there's two ways that we can kind of go about this. One being what I spoke about earlier, where you don't want to just stay within your realm, and you want to be able to experience and explore as much as you can in the time that you have in martial arts. Now, the other way you could look at it is a lot of the times when lineage pertains to systems, you are taught the techniques in a certain way, and because you're so binded to that lineage, you don't want to disrespect it. So you're going to train it and teach it the exact way you were taught. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it could potentially be a bad thing when you limit yourself on your growth and you are so afraid to disrespect your lineage by evolving and looking at the art in a different light. There is no wrong answer. There's only preferences and different methods. But the techniques, the art, no matter what type of martial arts you do, it'll always evolve as the generations go on because people are influenced by different things, whether that be instructors or environments, so on and so forth. So that is the topic of the lineage. Why is it important? Some pros, some cons to it. Tell me what you guys think. Comment below and let me know. What are your views on lineage? We're not talking about ranking. We're not talking about belt structure. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our online tutorials at FMACONCEPTS. Everything will be in the description box. And until next time, catch you guys then.